Is Mauga going to be mid or meta when he finally gets released in December? Hey, welcome to the channel. And Blizzard dropped a surprise bomb on the Overwatch scene over last weekend when they decided to release Mauga, the latest tank to be introduced to the game and long-term fan fave best mate of Baptiste, for one weekend only before cruelly taking the devilishly handsome Samoan away from us. And honestly, Blizzard, well played. Not only did the weekend we got to spend playing as Mauga reignite some serious fire in our bellies for playing the tank role, something apparently everyone experienced if the 17-minute queue times were anything to go by, but it's also probably the most fun we've had with a new hero since Kiriko dropped all the way back last year. So is Mauga going to make the cut in the meta, or is he destined to be mid like a lot of his newly introduced brethren? Well, it's probably a bit of somewhere in the middle. As much fun as he was to play, there's no doubt that Mauga, as he stands in his pre-full release form, just doesn't quite have the juice to actually maintain himself as a tank. He suffers, in short, from a lot of the same problems that Roadhog struggles with, and considering there's a big old rework on the horizon for Hog, that does set off some small alarm bells. An anti from Ana combined with a Bastion melts him almost instantly before he has any kind of chance to respond, and because of the size of his hitbox, he's almost comically easy to headshot even from across the map, if you have a Hanzo or a Widow that can aim in a reasonably straight line. He also suffers under any sort of coordinated fire, and while it means he'll probably find decent value in lower ranks due to more solo queuers and less team coordination in general being prevalent at that level, at higher ranks anyone trying out Mauga is just going to be absolutely melted the moment they step out of spawn. Thankfully, there are also some comically easy ways for the devs to improve Mauga, to the point where he'll be viable. It's just whether they decide buffing him is worthwhile after his short stint in the game. The idea of a tank that buffs and heals allies is great on paper, but you have to feel like his cardiac overdrive ability that makes nearby allies take reduced damage and heal by dealing damage, so just a casual Reaper passive, does probably need to give him a bit more of a damage reduction instead of sharing that value with his nearby teammates. It's an easy buff to the ability that I'm not sure his teammates will actually miss that much, that would help him actually do his job as a tank and absorb some more damage without getting deleted straight away, and it might just stop tank buster heroes straight countering him off the bat. Even adding some armor to his overall health pool might do wonders for how long he can stay alive. Aaron Keller said on Twitter recently that they were already testing some changes to him, and we're hoping that a few of them are designed to keep him alive for longer, because ultimately he's wound up in the same boat as Roadhog at the moment, where both of them pretty much get deleted due to a lack of damage resistance, something which every other tank has a decent amount of. Now don't get me wrong, he's going to do great in the lower ranks of the game because he functions in a similar way to Ramatra and Junker Queen, but is nowhere near as demanding with raw mechanical skill. Ana is easily his biggest counter thanks to her Biotic Grenade and Sleep Dart, and despite him being very strong in some cases against flyers like Echo and Pharah, they can also easily outmaneuver him and outdamage him, especially once Echo gets him under half health. That's not to say Mauga is just bad though. Like we said, we had a hell of a lot of fun playing with him, and that is partly because his kit does have some good synergy and can pull off ridiculous plays if you use it right. Pairing him with an Ashe to set people on fire with their dynamite benefits him massively, just allowing him to get critical hits left, right and centre without setting them on fire himself. And we can see Mauga's ultimate proving immensely powerful in team fights and objective-based game modes. In some scenarios, it can allow Mauga to just solo ult a specific player and eliminate either pesky damage or support players, or alternatively, you can just use it to trap an entire enemy team in one location while your teammates take the objective. Using his ult to trap the enemy team in overtime can be a game-winning play in its own right, especially in the first few days of his launch when fewer players will know that you can just actually destroy the shield. It has 1500 health, which is only 100 more than Rein's, so while yes, this does again highlight how weak he can be against a coordinated team, there's definitely something there. It just needs a bit of number tweaking to make it dangerously close to viable. You could also consider pairing Mauga with a Life Weaver on your team. His Life Grip ability can pull Mauga out of his cage fight shield, which if they trap a whole team inside, will essentially trap all your enemies in the cage until the timer runs out, with no other way of escaping unless Mauga somehow dies outside of the shield. That is, of course, unless they also have a Life Weaver. Being countered by a Life Weaver might seem like a particularly low blow, but I just want to stress again, Mauga is so much fun to play. He just needs a few changes, guys, honestly, and no, that's not copium. If nothing changes, which honestly would be a massive surprise, the biggest thing to keep in mind while playing Mauga is to just make sure you're dealing as much damage as you physically can. The temporary health granted from his Berserker passive is the key to staying alive for any length of time, and the temporary health you get is the closest thing he has to any sort of shield. But come on, that's not just unlikely, it's almost impossible for Blizzard to leave him this way. The whole reason for putting him out a month early will have been to gauge player reaction and how he interacts when the whole player base get their hands on him. And you can almost guarantee the devs were already sat on some changes they probably thought they should make, but did the right thing and let the players work that out for them. Honestly, I'd love for them to do this more in the future, temporarily letting new heroes loose on the community so that they can work them out, point out any weaknesses the devs might have missed, and have them ready to go in a viable state once their launch date rolls around. So sure, he needs changes, but Mauga relit my fire for Overwatch 2 that has admittedly been dimming a bit in recent weeks. The game needed a kick to get players excited, and Mauga could be just the tank for the job. Thanks for watching. Let us know what you thought of Mauga down in the comments, and if you're looking for more Overwatch 2 and Overwatch esports videos like this, you should check out these videos here.